And I'll say, the governor, I can agree with him on phones, on nutrition, on better controls on AI, on Sites Reservoir, and investments in infrastructure. And I agree with him that we need to do more about institutional investors who are buying up our housing in this state and making that a problem. But first, we need to recognize that mostly our policy has been on the wrong track, and that over the 8 years of Gavin Newsom, we've mostly stayed in entrenched policies that have made Californians' lives worse. We have to reform and change those policies if we truly want to see something better. The common theme, of course, is affordability, which he has done nothing to address in his 8 years. No cost in California has gone down. They have only gone up. California families are paying more and getting less. And no matter how much the governor polishes his speech, affordability remains the real issue facing California. Most of the stats that Gavin likes to constantly cite are meaningless to Californians who are barely staying afloat. After 7 years in office, the only question that really matters is this: are we really building what's right? Are you better off than you were 7 years ago? And of course, the answer for California families is no, because we've stayed in these entrenched policies. He mentioned the healthcare minimum wage, without mentioning that that is what has our hospitals on the brink of closure right now, ending healthcare opportunities in many of our areas. He mentioned the fast food increase, wage increase, without mentioning the 18,000 jobs that we have now lost in our fast food industry. For all the talk about wealth inequality, he oversees, as governor of the state, with the largest gap between rich and poor in the nation. So maybe your policies aren't working, Governor, and maybe it's time to start admitting it. Education is not just about money. More money spent on education that is not getting the job done and has our kids near last in the nation doesn't mean that you've established progress. Childcare, I agree. It's a major issue. We need to make sure that our people in this state can afford childcare, can get access to childcare. Because after all, most of us don't have a nanny like the governor and his wife do. And so what we are saying is it's important that those monies actually get to the people who need it and not wasted through fraudulent actors who are taking advantage of our system. You can't talk about childcare and making sure that the money's getting there without talking about the real fraud and abuse that is going on right here in California. And we've seen it in many sectors. EDD, cell phones that were bought and wasted, a 911 system that still hasn't been brought up to date after millions and millions of dollars spent. These are all things that Gavin refuses to recognize and he refuses to govern. That is our issue. We are more than willing to continue to work across the aisle with Democrats on policies that actually work.